everyone. Thank you for coming to my talk today on intercultural sales cycles. I decided to present on this today because I feel like more than any other technique or tip you can use, any regional office or type of content marketing, culture is a set of subconscious expectations that forms the framework for how we view the world. And addressing this framework and learning how to work around it, in my experience, living and working in lots of different countries and working with people from other countries, is the number one thing that can derail deals, and it's the number one thing that can help close deals too. So a little bit about myself and why my experience in this topic is relevant, why I consider myself somewhat of an expert. I'm originally born and raised in the United States. I'm from San Jose, California, but my family on my mother's side is from Costa Rica. So growing up, I was always a mix of cultures in the house. We were going back and forth. Latin culture is very bright and sort of playful, and United States culture is a little bit more dry. And I've also lived in Argentina, just going through that. I'm originally from California, but then I went to university, I went to law school at Yale, received my degree, and promptly decided I didn't want to be a lawyer. But again, even just between the West Coast and the East Coast of the United States, I found huge differences in culture, in the way people talk to each other, smile, the sort of demeanor that's expected in a professional environment. And when I decided I didn't want to be a lawyer, I realized at that time I was dancing Argentine tango. I thought, well, I'm young, single, I don't have kids, I'll go to Argentina and learn more about the tango. And I wound up getting a job at Google in Buenos Aires. And again, a very different professional culture. You know, what are the expectations about how you interact with people? What kinds of promises can you make? When do you deliver? From Google, I wound up going to a Brazilian company called Buscapé, which is like an online price aggregator for e-commerce. And after that, I started working with the startup scene in Buenos Aires. From there, I met my partner, who's Turkish, and fell in love. And I moved to Turkey, where we have a retail business together. We sell Turkish textiles, katlabellatextiles.com. And now living from Turkey, I've established myself as an online marketing expert. I've worked with clients from California, Canada, New York, and my current role as one of the co-founders and the chief marketing officer in Ekipa is to work in this very distributed global marketplace for software development teams. So we work to help match clients from North America and Europe with the right software team for their projects. These teams are from around the globe. We also do some sales consulting with the teams as well. We help them learn how to communicate with their clients in a way that actually helps move the project forward. We also eat our own dog food. I mean, I'm American, Costa Rican, whatever, who knows what, but based in Turkey. Our other co-founder is Polish, based in the Netherlands. We also work with a native Dutch co-founder, our CEO, who's based in the Netherlands. And part of our team is based in India. So on a daily basis, we're working across 3 or 4 different sets of cultural expectations and experiences. So you might wonder, okay, but fine, this is all like foo-foo, la-la-la culture. Why does this matter for remote teams? Why does this matter for my team? And I would actually argue that intercultural communication is inherent in any outsourcing relationship. Like I said earlier, this goes deeper than brochures, business cards, references, examples of previous work. In remote work, every interaction happens across cultures. Unless you as a Ukrainian team are dealing with a Ukrainian company, you will be interacting with someone who has a very different subconscious framework of how the world should work. Most of their preferences about how to talk to other people, how to treat other people, what they can expect from you, what you should expect from them are determined by their culture. And as much as we can consciously try to understand this and maybe give a little bit of leeway, many of their frustrations and many of your missed opportunities are tied to these expectations and to the failure to communicate across them. We're going to work with some case studies in this presentation. This is one email. This is actually an email that I got from someone on related to a project with a textile business of mine. Progress in new projects. Body. I wanted to let you know we will be delivering the final live version of your app 1 week late. The holidays here last week reduced our productivity. I also noticed you did not implement a mobile version. Your project was for responsive HTML5, but we can do a mobile app for you as well. What if we took this email and read it to 5 different people from 5 different cultures? So let's say we've got a man from Japan, a man from the Middle East, we'll say he's from Qatar, an American woman, a Brazilian man, and a Ukrainian service provider. How might this be interpreted? Japanese man. Oh, okay. You're delivering this app 1 week late, and it's not done. I'm done with you. Time to withdraw my project. Goodbye. Middle Eastern man. Okay, this guy doesn't even really know me. You know, he doesn't bother to find out about who I am, where I'm coming from, and he's trying to sell me a mobile app. How can I even trust him? I don't even really know this person. The American girl might have read that other email and thought, well, what's the benefit to me? What do I stand to gain from building this mobile app with this person? He's just telling me what I need to do. The Brazilian guy, again, a very happy kind of personal culture, would read that email and think, oh, what is going on? You can't even ask me how I am. You can't even say, hi, how are you? This person has some bad energy. And the Ukrainian girl might think, okay, well, this client has the wrong assumptions about their project, but I'm going to prove to them that they need it done this way. Again, there's a lot of miscommunication going on. From just one email, there are 5 different ways of interpreting it. And I would say this goes the same for any culture. For this presentation, I'm going to focus on the difference between the USA and the Ukraine. And that's because, obviously as a person who's born and raised in the United States, I have a certain understanding of the culture, and also it's most relevant to the country where we are. To get this information on which I based my presentation, I surveyed executives, freelancers, developers, and project managers from both countries. So we're going to address the USA, we're also going to address the Ukraine. These are their self-reported experiences. I asked people in my own professional network, I also asked people on Reddit, I asked people in our database of clients and providers at Ekipa. Let's talk first about a typical American client. And we're going to be very honest about these sorts of biases that Americans can bring to the table. I've lived outside the United States. I know we're not perfect, and we definitely have our problems. Some of our common expectations and frustrations. First of all, this is a culture that is all about service. We've got a wealth of choices, right? You need to remember we can choose from providers from around the globe. Not even just in terms of IT outsourcing. I mean, you go to the department store in the United States, you go to the supermarket, and you have 30 different brands of toothpaste. Who needs that? Nobody does, but that's just how it is. We've also got a can-do culture. This comes from our history as a pioneer nation, right? So you go out into the unknown and you build your home, you build your business, and you can't be successful if you're negative about it. You have to always have this subconscious belief, yes, we can do it, even if you can't really. So we expect smiling service, we expect somewhat friendly service, again, this positive, helpful culture. We also expect competition for our attention because we're used to having a lot of different things to choose from and possible places to spend our money and invest our time. We expect that you will come to us. We don't expect that we have to come to you. Maybe that's a little bit spoiled, but that's just how it is. We also expect our needs to be accommodated as the customer. Everyone's heard this common American assumption, the customer is always right. Obviously, people don't take it to an extreme, but that's kind of like this borderline subconscious assumption. If I want my latte with chocolate sprinkles, you will put chocolate sprinkles in my latte. You know, if I want my software development project to be delivered in 2 weeks, I don't care what you have to do, I'll pay you extra if it's urgent, but you will deliver it within 2 weeks. We also expect frequent communication from our service providers. There's this concept of checking in and updating people, right? If I assign you a project and I don't hear back from you, it will make me nervous. Sometimes in America this can be carried to an extreme, right? I mean, I remember going back to visit and going to have dinner with my mother at a restaurant. We sit down, we get our food, and 5 minutes later the server is back, saying, "Hi, I just wanted to check in on you, see how everything's going." And it's a little bit too much. And it can be very strange if you're not used to that. But it's a business assumption or an expectation that you, as the provider of a service or a good, will ask me for my opinion, for my satisfaction, for any feedback that I might have. So this is an improved example of the old email update that I shared before. Subject, progress and moving forward. "Hi Jennifer, we're anticipating a slight delay in building your app next week due to mandatory staff holidays." Okay, so we're updating, we're letting me know about a possible roadblock instead of reporting it after the fact. On the bright side, positivity. We did complete programming all the way through the first 4 steps of 5 outlined in your development plan. Great, you're updating me on progress, you're being positive about what you did do. Please let me know if you'd like more information on our progress. Great, so you're leaving the door open and you're checking in. This is a much better email than the first example we looked at. Finally, I want to tell you about one thing where Americans definitely need to improve, and that is in our communication. We think we're communicating clearly, but we usually aren't. And we don't understand when people don't understand us. This is a population where bilingualism isn't terribly common in business as well. One of our biggest issues in clear communication, something I heard from a lot of Ukrainian provider teams, is accents. This, if I'm speaking to someone who I know isn't a native English speaker, I would say, "How are you doing?" If I'm talking to someone from California, I might say, "How you doing?" What the hell did I just say, right? And this happens a lot in business culture, and maybe Americans could do a better job of speaking clearly, of not using as much jargon, and not expecting their counterparts in other countries to know what the latest baseball game was, or what TV show happened on this and that, and blah, blah, blah. We also use too much jargon. This is something I heard across the board from provider teams in lots of different countries, right? Dropping the ball, synergize. This is seriously a sentence. One Ukrainian provider team on Reddit gave me this sentence. This is actually from a client email. "Let's synergize around our core competencies so we don't drop the ball on scalable initiatives." Oh God, like what is this, right? This is a good example of where you might want to ask for a little bit more clarity or clarify for understanding. We'll get to that in a second. And again, going back to positivity, you always want to communicate your expectations clearly without being too negative about setbacks. Whenever you talk about something that's going wrong, a roadblock, something that came up, present it along with a solution. So this is that email update, that same email update, but even better. Subject, progress on your app. Body, "Hi Jennifer." Oh, thank you for saying hi. "I wanted to remind you that we'll be out next week due to mandatory staff holidays as per our development roadmap." Great, so this is something we're anticipating. You already built it into the roadmap. People usually know when a federal holiday is coming, and you're reminding me about it. On the bright side, positivity again, we pushed ahead all the way through the first 4 steps of 5 outlined in our development plan. Great, so you're even presenting it as, we knew this roadblock was coming, so this is the solution that we created. Please let me know if you'd like more information on our progress. Finally, we've got to understand that in America, when we're working together on a project, even if you're a separate company, we're technically on the same team. So it's not an us or you type of relationship. It's not an either or, what I need versus what you need. We're working together on something. I want you to understand what I need. I want us to find a way of doing it that is a win for both of us, and I want us both to be open about what's going on. We are thinking only about goals in this relationship. As an American client, right? You're responsible for delivering your results. And to a certain extent, you know, this happened, the other thing happened, but you still didn't deliver my result. You have to deliver, and deadlines are relatively firm. While we understand that some things happen and circumstances can change, when you commit to delivering on a certain date, you make it happen on that date. Final delivery email. This is an example of doing all of the other stuff wrong in this last step. Jennifer, your app is finished. Unfortunately, we could not design the payment process for Bitcoin because our lead Bitcoin developer got sick. Making excuses. We did all other work as you assigned. Project has been delivered within 1 week of anticipated end date. Within 1 week, which means it was late. Please send payment in full. Okay. Please send payment in full. This is maybe a better way of saying that. Subject, we did it. Positivity. Hi Jennifer, great news. We finished building your app. You can access the files here. Oh, super convenient. I can just click right there and get what I need. And we've also uploaded them to your server. We'll be in touch about billing shortly. Great. Update right from the beginning. Positive. They delivered on time. I've got the files. Also, I was wondering why you didn't build a mobile-specific version. This could improve your performance on other devices. Let me know if you want to talk more. This is a great example of turning an update into an opportunity for an upsell. So just kind of think about that in terms of these different emails. When we're dealing with Ukrainian providers, again, this is self-reported from Ukrainian teams, but also some of what I've heard from people in the international community. I hope you won't be offended. If you are, you can talk to me afterward and tell me about how I'm so mean and so incorrect, or correct me in the questions. Some common expectations and frustrations. This is a very straightforward culture, from what I hear from Ukrainian teams and also from people who work with them. You don't need to smile at strangers. You don't need to be overly enthusiastic when selling. As someone who's lived abroad, I actually appreciate that a little bit more. Sometimes when I go back, I find that this, like showmanship kind of culture of selling it's a little bit too much. It can be overwhelming. For someone who comes from this culture, again, American positivity might feel a bit like this. It's a little bit too much, right? I sometimes wonder, even when I'm interacting with Ukrainians, because I know that I have kind of a little bit more upbeat, energetic vibe, if this is what I'm coming across as. Who knows? Honesty. If something sucks, you say it. If you think the other person's assumptions are wrong, you argue your point. Again, this is a great thing to have because, comparing it again with Costa Rican culture, which is where my mother's family is from, you don't really complain or criticize, and sometimes if something is crap, if something sucks, you just need to say it's crap, And if someone is wrong, it's a much shorter process to figuring out how to move forward if you just say you're wrong and this is why. But what this feels like to USA business person, this is from a real email response that I got. Ukrainians can take a tough stance and dig their heels in the sand. If they say it's black, it's black. As a customer, this can be frustrating because it often requires flexibility to sell something a customer wants. This goes back to my expectation as an American client, typical American client, that the customer is always right. I want chocolate sprinkles on my latte, so you better put chocolate sprinkles on my latte. I don't care if that's not how you usually make lattes. I want my chocolate sprinkles. I want my PHP project to be delivered with the following specifications. Maybe that's not within your usual framework, but you can clearly do it, so why can't you do it for me? Having lived outside the United States and seen other ways of looking at this sort of attitude, it can come across as childish. I'll fully acknowledge that. Not everywhere in the world can all of your expectations and wants and needs be met and on demand and everything. But again, these are very subconscious cultural expectations that people from the United States tend to have. The question when we move on is how can we work with that in a way that doesn't really lose your essential character or require you to go too far out yourself and be someone who you're not, but still close deals with these people. Some more common expectations and frustrations. The customer-seller relationship tends to be the opposite of what it is in the USA. Ukraine isn't the only country like this too. I also found this living in Argentina. In Ukraine, a customer visits a supplier if they want something. The client should be happy to work with the provider, not the provider being happy to work with the client. There's no good or bad in this relationship, it's just different. And again, I want to be very careful to say that not everyone has to work the way United States cultural expectations are. Plenty of other countries work this way. They obviously still survive and exist and are doing just fine. Related to customer service, again, going back to how this might be perceived by a USA business person, this idea of checking in. You know, if you're doing a service for me, giving me a product, you check in with me to find out what I think, how I'm doing. During delivery, a team in Ukraine can be working on a project and think they're making a lot of progress, or they can be completely stuck. A customer has no way of knowing without updates. But if technical teams under-communicate, the customer's uncertainty can derail any project, even if the technical team does everything right. What does this mean? If you don't check in, your clients will get a little bit nervous, and they might withdraw the project before its completion. They might do just one small project with you and never come back. They might give you negative reviews. How do we bring these two cultures together? Obviously it's possible, plenty of teams have done it. The biggest number one issue is communication, right? Don't lose your essential character of who you are, because that's a very valuable thing that you can bring to any outsourcing relationship. But you should always over-communicate. Assume nothing. If they use a piece of jargon that seems unclear, ask them to clarify their expectations. If they ask you about what requirements you want to be delivered, make sure you understand even more than that. Clarify expectations about checking in. And take the time to learn about their culture. This goes for anyone, whether your client is from the United States, Canada, somewhere in Europe. Take a little time to understand what normal business culture is like, relationships between men and women in business, communication, positivity, energy, all of these things. A little bit of investment in this area can go a long way in terms of your business success. The big issue, number 2, establish trust early on in a project. There have been some horror stories about remote teams not doing their work, and this has unfairly influenced the perception of outsourcing. And again, checking in and showing progress goes a long way to establishing trust. So we're just going to go really quickly through the whole sales cycle. And I actually count marketing, sales, fulfillment, and support as part of the sales cycle, because the job that you do on your projects will determine whether or not I come back to you in the future for more business. Again, with customer support too, I will return to teams that do an excellent job of pulling me in, completing my projects, and supporting me afterwards. So the first step is with marketing, blogs, webinars, and ebooks. Someone asked me earlier today if inbound marketing is effective in terms of lead generation for remote teams. I don't think it's quite so effective because it's kind of a more serious venture. If my business is my baby, I'm not going to entrust it to someone based on one article. But it is important in terms of creating trust. It shows that you're familiar with business trends, in that more marketing is pull versus push. And it also shows me that you're good at communicating. This is an example of someone's blog, I'm not going to say who. They wanted to show their authority in terms of implementing a sticky header with vanilla JavaScript. And it's pretty much just 2 lines of text and then code. For me, as a North American, as a United States person, this doesn't really establish trust in terms of their communication ability. This doesn't conform to standards of good content marketing. I probably wouldn't choose these guys for my JavaScript project, even though they clearly know how to write code. This one is a little bit better, right? So I understand, okay, they know that in order to create content, they need attractive graphics. Good, they're with it. They've got some text here. They're explaining what is Agile, so they understand how to talk about technical requirements to people who don't understand that. Maybe I'm not a software development company, but I still need something created for my business. So they'll be able to talk to me about what they're doing in language that I'll understand. Finally, we're not going to spend too much time on this, but I just want to tell you about 3 great tools. In-house at Ekipa, our content marketing team is not primarily a native English-speaking content marketing team. So we use these in order to create good content that native English speakers will read and enjoy. Grammarly, which is an inline grammar and spelling editor, the co-founders are Ukrainian. Hemingway, which is a style editor. This is a step beyond kind of creating text that reads well. You know, your sentences aren't too long, your descriptions are simple and clear. And Canva, which is a free tool for creating graphics. So remember, Grammarly, Hemingway, and Canva. Those are my recommendations. Let's move on to selling. Again, we talked about this earlier. You need to have a positive, can-do attitude. Don't go over the top. Don't, fake it and put on a fake smile and all of this, because it'll come across as unnatural. But if you can just think about this a little bit, change your style a little bit, smile a little bit, you'll find that we're much more likely to open up and trust you. Again, because you're speaking to something that's very deeply ingrained, very subconscious, and very difficult to reason past with your conscious mind. Provide them with content. Again, this goes back to what I was speaking about earlier with someone about content marketing. Maybe you won't get so many leads through inbound marketing, but after a sales call, you can easily follow up with a blog article on AngularJS, along with a couple references and examples of your previous work. Even at the moment of selling, of closing a deal, under-promise and over-deliver from the very beginning. If you say you'll be in touch in the next 3 days with references, write them tomorrow with 5 references. If you say you'll give them 1 example of your work, give them 3. This is very impressive to a United States client. Teams that under-promise and over-deliver. Teams that give me more than I expect. And finally, follow up quickly and be reliable. Again, it might seem very basic, but we're talking about very small things that can have a huge impact on someone's perception of who you are. Email me when you're going to email me. Call me when you say you're going to call me. Do things when you say you're going to do. Maybe that's very basic and obvious for Ukrainian culture. There are other cultures where it's not so obvious. I've found, especially in South America, it's very flexible about time. I might say we're going to talk at 12 o'clock, and we actually get in touch around 1, and that's okay, that's totally normal, and the American person is being unreasonable and uptight because they insist on it being at 1 o'clock. But that's just how it is. Again, these are perceptions. No one is wrong, no one is right. This is just what we subconsciously tend to bring to the table. Finally, in sales, we want to focus on understanding needs and working together. Again, if you're going to be part of my development solution, we're going to be part of the same team. So I want you to show me that you feel like we are actually part of the same team. Find out what I need from you, what you can do for me, and find a solution that results in us both winning. So you get a good project and we get some benefit out of it. I will respond much better to someone who tells me about their talents in terms of the benefits they bring to me than just like traditional hard sales, like we're the best and this is what we do and you need to go with us and you should go with us and we're trusted and we're the best. This is an example of that. This is the hard sale gone wrong. We're going to use an example, let's call this company blah blah, okay? This is an actual email. I've changed the names, I've taken out the company name, but someone actually gave me this example when I was talking to them about this. So build software with blah blah. Hi Jennifer, my name is Ina. I work with blah blah, and we have clients from all over the globe. We are world's #1 software provider. You should contact us for your software development needs. I should. Okay. This might be a little bit better. Again, these are very simplified. I only have 35 minutes and I'm not going to spend it all reading emails, but it's enough to get you a little bit of an idea. Following up with blah blah. This is something someone else sent me, okay? So maybe they sent me this first email, you should go with us, we're the #1, we're the best, you should go with us, you should go with us, you should go with us. And I think, whoa, okay, I'm not even going to reply to this, don't want to hear from you, whatever. They sent me another email, following up with blah blah. Hi Jennifer, you did not respond to my previous message. I noticed we are in the same software development group on LinkedIn, and you said you are looking to hire. Blah blah should be your choice. When can we schedule a call? Oh my God, leave me alone. Oh my God, what's my reaction as a sales project? Ah! Go away! Yes, this is really my picture. I send these pictures to my boyfriend when he keeps me waiting for dinner. So no one should ever have to see that face. No one should ever produce this face in a sales prospect. This is a little bit better. This is something that I received, again, with our textile marketing group, our textile business, which is Casabella. We'd like to help you grow Casabella. Great beginning, right? You want to help me. You want to help my business grow. This is something I want as a business owner. Hi Jennifer, my name is Ina. I work with blah blah, and I noticed you're the CMO of Casabella. I checked out your website, and it looks like you've just got a landing page up. How can we help you build it? Let me know if you'd like a 10-minute call, a quick 10-minute call, and I can give you my advice. This is great. You're offering me a piece of content up front. You want to help me. You've checked out my business. You've shown me you've done at least a little bit of investigation into what I'm doing. You're showing me that you want to understand what I'm doing and work together. The hard work in selling to a USA client comes in following up. Once you've opened the conversation, remind me of your value proposition. Keep the conversation open, right? If I've responded positively to you, that is. Don't just keep bombarding me if I've ignored you, maybe on purpose. But keep reminding me of how you can help me, that you're here to help me. Again, these are people who are used to service, to products coming to them, not the other way around. Next, we're going to talk about fulfillment and communication. This is a culture that's inflexible about time. Set out a development plan and stick to it. That'll help me relax more as a customer because I'll know that you're planning on delivering milestones at specific points in time. And if something does come up, we do understand that circumstances can change. Communicate about it proactively. If you know that there's going to be a big protest tomorrow. This happened to me when I was in Argentina. There was a huge protest and I couldn't go to work. I knew it was coming, so I let my clients know the day before or a couple days before, hey, I'm going to be out, I'll be working from home, my internet is a little bit slow, there's a big protest, I shouldn't be out on the street. That's fine. Case study number 4, why I broke up with my provider. This is an actual chat. Me. Hey Ina, yesterday I saw in my project calendar we were going to have mock-ups ready for the website a week ago. We're launching in 5 days. I'm thinking as a business owner, oh shit, I don't have what I need. But I haven't received anything from you. Is everything okay? Bad step number 1, I'm checking in with the provider. They're not checking in with me. Yes, Jennifer, says Ina. Everything is fine. We have a slight delay in producing the mock-ups. Please be patient and we will give them to you. Please be patient. In my head, I'm thinking, wow, time to move on and find someone else. Hey, that team from India seemed really polite. This is not the reaction you want to produce. Case study number 4, this is a little bit better. Why I love my provider. Ina, she's checking in with me, she's being proactive. Hey Jennifer, we've got half the mock-ups ready for you to review. I know the deadline is next week, but could you please take a look so we know we're making good progress? I look, thanks, that looks great. Just FYI, next week we have mandatory federal holidays. We might be delayed by 2 days producing the other mock-ups. Is that okay? This makes a world of difference to me as a client because you're letting me know ahead of time about a possible delay, right? So I can anticipate it, and I also understand, okay, fine, they're making progress, they're getting work done, they can't really prevent mandatory federal days off. So I say, yeah, that's fine, as long as we get them at least 5 days before launch. Problem solved. Again, a very simple difference in how you communicate produces a huge difference in how I perceive your work. In fulfillment, you always want to ask questions and examine assumptions, but not 100% brutally. It's a can-do culture, right? So if you think I'm doing something wrong, if I want something that isn't right for my needs, please tell me. But then present a solution for it. Don't just be 100% negative all the time. That can be a turnoff. When things go wrong, if something does go wrong, never, ever, 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 ever play the blame game. This is a big turnoff for United States clients. Don't tell me, this went wrong because you didn't do this, because you didn't do that. Talk about it neutrally, present a solution, and move on. The last phase is customer support. What keeps people coming back? Responsiveness, even if it's only to acknowledge their request. Meeting and exceeding expectations, and maintaining a positive, accommodating attitude. Again, responsivity. Meeting and exceeding expectations, maintaining a positive, accommodating attitude. Case study number 5. I will never work with you again. So I sent a support ticket at 3 o'clock on February 28th. Blah blah has received your ticket. Please be patient, blah 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 blah. Totally a form email. What's going on? Don't appreciate this. Then 4 days later, I finally receive a human follow-up and I say, hello, we can't solve your problem, comes from usability issues on certain devices. If you had done this right, we would have been able to do it for you. Have a nice day. Again, what's my reaction? I'm never going to work with you again. Nobody should ever have to see me like this. This is a little bit better. Hi Jennifer, we're writing to acknowledge you that we've received your request. Someone from our team will review it as soon as they can and respond. And finally they follow up with a solution. Here's your problem, we've fixed it, we've done it for free. Can I call you tomorrow to explain more? Again, if you want more advice or info about this, you can reach out to me at blog.ekipa.co or personally at jennifer@ekipa.co. Thank you very much.
Actually, it's lunchtime, but I think it's so great, so it especially have some concrete answers in real cases, so if somebody really just starving, then go away. But if you have questions, maybe we can wait for 1 or 2 questions. Okay? 1, 2, maybe 3. Or 3 questions, and maybe that's it.
Jennifer, thanks very much for your speech. It's really interesting to know about all these little cultural differences. I have 2 questions in one. About specifically checking ins with the clients. First of all, if we say have 3, 4, 5 months project, how do you recommend to schedule these check-ins, like formal weekly review of the project, or what happens? And the second part of this question is that I understand the best approach is then when you come up to the client and say, I need something from you, this is our progress, etc., etc. But there are some weeks when we don't need any feedback or any input or any review from the client. How should we keep them informed in this situation?
The best way to keep them informed is to tell them we're good and we don't need anything from you. Even that is an update. And how frequently you update with a client really depends on the client and their needs. As a general best practice, I would say once a week, quick call. It doesn't have to take very much of your time. You can also use online project management software like Trello, Asana, Jira. There are a number of different solutions, and that's a great way to keep them updated virtually. But in terms of like an actual call, maybe on Skype, I would say at least once a week. Ask the client if they want more from you. Again, you'll show flexibility and willingness to meet their needs. Ask them what kind of communication structure they would like from you. And if it's reasonable for you to meet it, then go ahead. They'll be so happy.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer, for this awesome speech. You were talking most about the United States. Maybe you can say some few words, like keywords, about how to work with Asian culture, like United Arab Emirates or something similar. Thanks.
Okay, well, I would say Asian cultures are where I have the least amount of experience, and I would be hesitant to give you recommendations on that because it's going to be informed by so little experience that I can't really guide you in the right direction. Before you enter into that sort of relationship, or even before you pursue those sorts of clients, it's always a good idea to find resources, learn about their culture. You can find out, the same way I did, ask people on Reddit, on software development forums, interview people if you can on Skype. That's usually the best way to find out about what they're expecting from you.
Hi Jennifer, thank you for awesome speech. I would ask you for an advice. We have a problem with the client who didn't pay an interim payment. Usually we charge a client for a wireframe prototype and the technical description. We did it, we presented it for the client, and he said it doesn't have much value for him, so he didn't pay. What will you advise?
Oh gosh, well this is a very complicated situation, and unfortunately it happens in all sorts of business relationships, not just outsourcing. There are jerks around the world, and there are people who will sometimes not pay you for your work. Maybe on his side he's received your work and he also hasn't really perceived that it fulfills the requirements, right? So who knows, he might be trying to screw you over, he might have a legitimate perception of your work as not fitting his needs. You have to evaluate what's best for your business. I would say, go back, look at his requirements, look at your project, explain to him how you interpreted the communications from him. Again, not blaming him, not saying like, you said this and you said that and you said this and you said that and we did everything. Just say, okay, well, this was a requirement. This was our interpretation. This is our implementation. Go through that. And if he's still intractable, I might either, chalk it up to experience and let it go. Don't work with him again. In the future, maybe try to get your payment in escrow beforehand so that it's not subject to the whims of the client. That's the benefit of working with a company like Ekipa or another marketplace, is that we kind of provide a little bit of assurances and trust in that process. And in the future going forward, as you're implementing each step, again, check in weekly, explain your perception of the requirement, explain how you've done a specific implementation, and that should help prevent situations like that in the future.
Okay, thanks. Okay, maybe we have question one. Okay, that's it. Okay, thanks Jennifer. It's also a certification for impact in the conference, and especially thanks for cases which you provided, and we're trying to make this conference as practical as possible. It's very great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.